look forward to this. Thank you very much. I'm waiting on the notification now. I already know my sisters, they told me, they was like, we gonna be right there. Like it's old times.
Man.
Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us, an amazing educator, mentor, and just a positive role model in the community. He's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. None other than Dave Walton. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Glad to be here, bro. Just landed in Nashville up in my mom's attic, making it happen.
Okay, wonderful. And please let Sister Alice know that we send her our love, our bestie, everybody, man. We miss them so much.
Absolutely.
And the fact that I'm friends with your moms on Instagram and not you really says a lot, but whatever.
Oh, we gotta fix that, man.
Yeah, we definitely got to fix that. Every time I see your mom's post something, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Alice. But Mimi and Naima both say peace, family, peace, Mimi and Naima. All right.
What up, Mimi, Naima, man?
So let's get straight into it. For those who don't know, this is someone who knows us, knows my family very well. Mimi says, hey, Dave, please give your mom the greetings. Excellent.
Will do.
Somebody who we known since high school, man, is like family. And we just look forward to hearing where he's been for so long, because it's been a long time since we had a conversation. And the first thing we want to know is, Naima says Stylish with all the hearts. The first thing we want to know is, what made you go into education?
Man, to be perfectly honest, man, it was one of those situations where I was kind of thinking about myself first. Very similar. I'm sure we'll recognize a pattern here as we begin to talk about multiple things, but I was definitely thinking about, like, man, I hate working. Like, truly, working takes a lot out of me, man. And you know, educators work, you know, anywhere from 170 to 190 days a year. You got summer breaks, Christmas breaks, Thanksgiving, etc. So that was the biggest appeal at first. And I had a bachelor's in psychology at the time, and I was trying to find a way to, you know, kind of pair the two together. And school psychology just sort of jumped out. I think I met somebody when I was working for corporate Verizon for a couple years, in sort of a middle management sort of role. And I met a girl who I worked with. Her sister was a school psychologist, and she plugged me with the program. Ironically, during that time, I had a lot of stuff going on. My girlfriend at the time had just lost a baby in the third trimester, so it was real tough. I was just kind of scrambling to like find something else to do, and yeah, school psychology kind of landed in my lap. So I did that in Arkansas for went to school for about 2.5, 3 years after undergrad, and moved to Colorado for an internship, where I am still 10 years later. It's been 10 years in the field. So
wonderful, man, wonderful. Well, my sisters are sending love. My brother Rashad says Dave still looks like Nick Cannon. Thank you for that, Rashad. And
what's so funny, man, is when I look at like Mimi's kids, it's like, man, I remember when Shy was that age, man. Like, I remember when Shy was so little, we could just punch him around, man, kick him out of our room, whatever we wanted to do, man. It was like, it's so funny to watch how old we're getting through just like the youth of just like some of your nieces and nephews, man. So yeah, big up.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, earlier we spoke, before we came live, you spoke about you having video and pictures of you at your track games and basketball. Well, I want to start with basketball because I told my sister Naima watched it. Kevin Garnett, Anything is Possible documentary on Showtime, I think. And when I watched it, I said, bro, I just thought about Dave, man. All the schools, I wouldn't know about Proviso East, East Aurora, West Aurora, going to all your basketball games. What was it about basketball that made you have such a love for it? And do you still have a love for it?
Yeah, man. I grew up, you know what I mean, on the south side of Chicago, and there wasn't much to do but hoop. You know, we nailing crates to light poles, and you know, I grew up playing on crates, playing in YMCA. So it was a different ball game though when I moved to the suburbs. That was like the only thing that I was able to keep with me from the city when I moved out to the burbs, was like basketball is still basketball. You know, it was different being the only Black kid on the team, though. You know, that was something that I couldn't ignore, or something that I couldn't suppress. for the sake of, having a better performance. But as you alluded to, man, I think like having you and Osai and just random people that were there, just to support me. I look up in the stands. I don't know if you remember the Braves.
We remember that.
Let's go. I think you'll get canceled for that now, but yeah, man, the Brave chant. I always hooped harder at away games where people didn't know me. And it was always just, I felt too much pressure at home, man. I couldn't hoop like I wanted to at home, but we go to these random schools and I would just ball out. So yeah, basketball is still there, man. I played a little bit in college. I broke my ankle again, playing in like a rec league in college. And I've been coaching high school basketball. This is actually the first since before COVID, man. I've been coaching for about 6 years, varsity basketball. So yeah, it's always been in my life. I still use it as a tool to connect with kids. I would have probably dropped out of school, man, if it wasn't for basketball. If it wasn't for eligibility and having to maintain certain GPA, I just didn't have that buy-in into education in high school. But basketball was something that kept me grounded, kept me focused on stuff that maybe I didn't really think was important at the time, but still very prevalent in my life, man. Like I said, I still coach, I still watch basketball. I still go see the Bulls when they come in town to play the Nuggets. So yeah, man, still a thing for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I would also want to say, this, we go back to IQ02. The
I'm gonna have to blow the dust off that one, boy.
The D-Watch days, and I was speaking. I didn't know that was a home and away thing. Why was there more pressure at home than away?
Man, I think that was another factor of like playing in the suburbs, man. Like I felt like, my mom worked a lot, so she wouldn't really come to a lot of games, but I would feel like I go up in the stands, man, and I just like had this pressure to perform, man. Back then they used to do the thing where the cheerleaders make you sign for you.
Yeah.
I don't know who my cheerleader was, but I think I had a little crush on my cheerleader in neighborhood, whoever it was. And I just remember like being like, dang, my crush out there, they got a sign for me. Like I felt this unnecessary pressure, man, that I just couldn't go out and play like I wanted to at home. I had a Coach Lindo, man, who just, he was a very loud coach. I didn't respond well to that. And now as I coach, I find myself like trying to like work myself out of that Coach Lindo thing, the yelling and just the throwing rants and fits on the bench. A lot of coaches are like that, you know what I mean? And I realized that like I didn't respond to that very well. Like I didn't have a lot of yelling in my house. I didn't have, I didn't really have not a lot of males in my family in general. So that abrasive like yelling and jumping up and down, it motivated me. It just used to make me nervous about making mistakes, you know what I mean? So I try to like speak with a calm and level head to my players now, but yeah, that was a big thing for me, man. I felt like, man, I could go to Glenbar East, I can go to Naperville Central and just ball out. But when I look in the stands, everybody's like, D Watts, and I'm like, ooh. It wasn't cell phones back then, really. Like, so people was just like, you had the undivided attention, man. And I just, like I said, if it wasn't for you and a couple people, I had Brandon around for a little while before he got kicked off the team.
Yeah.
But I had some staples, man, that I could go to and just, get a quick boost of confidence. But yeah, it was hard, bro. It was hard playing in them home games in Naperville with, they could pack out the stadium with
absolutely
a couple thousand people, bro. And I just, wasn't ready for the moment, man. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but growing up, I never had that issue. But when I went to the Birds, I just could not hoop at home, man. It just wasn't working.
Okay, well, for those who don't know, he's not gonna brag on himself, but Dave was like a hybrid. He was ahead of the Kevin Durant thing for the tall people who was really hooping, who could handle the ball, man. You know what I'm saying? I had never seen that. I was like, okay, look at Dave, who's a forward, but who could bring the ball up and spin it, and he was left-handed like hard. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right.
That was the problem, though. Coach Lindo didn't want me to be a shooter, man. Everybody wanted me to be this just aggressive like post player and dunker, and man, I just wanted to shoot threes, man. I grew up. Tony Kukoc was my role model, man. I idolized my whole game after Tony Kukoc, man, growing up. And some of my guys off 63rd will tell you too, man. Like as a kid, I had Cool Coach jerseys. I was always gonna take the pull up. I can have a wide open layup, but I'm about to come down and pull up and play just because that's what, that was what I thought my game needed to be. So it was a big like, conflict between like the player that I felt like I was and the player that like that system kind of wanted me to be. I played in the days of like Mike Benning and Corey McEwen and just players that just like, you knew Mike was going to shoot it. Corey was going to take it to the rack. Ryan Fabricius was going to shoot that 15-footer. Ryan Jungles was going to bang. And I just felt like I didn't have an identity, man, on that team. But, I did what I could. Like I said, I had some good games here and there, but man, I grew up for a little while after high school with just some regret of not just leaving it all out there, man, like I could have for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, Naima says, shout out to the Huskies.
Yeah,
but I also just want to let people know, man, before there was a My Player, so I was big into My Player 2K, I lived vicariously through Dave. Like he was like, yeah. I'm like, listen, coach. So what's the game? What's the game plan? What's going on? What's the stats? How was looking? You know what I'm saying? And I remember
my mom in one ear telling me to rebound. I had you in the other ear telling me I need to shoot more. It was once again, man, constant confusion, bro. Constant confusion, man.
There was a girl, I don't know if you remember, but she was like, I was real cool with her at one point. She was she helped with the stats, keep the stats and all that, but she would travel, named Heather and Susie, and I don't know, I think Heather and Susie. Anyway, they all went to all the games with us, and I never would have known, man. I would have never known that that you didn't like the pressure, man. You was a star, bro. I was like, man, I wanted to hoop, bro. I wanted to be on the team so bad.
Yeah. And I had a couple Division III offers, man, and I just never saw myself like I said, man, it just after that high school experience, I just remember being like, man, I was discouraged, bro. Like I thought I was ready to hoop, and this take a lot more than just like being able to shoot and run and dribble, man. It's like you got to handle a lot of pressure. So that was the first time in my life I think like pressure was really sort of introduced, man, and like being able to perform under these sort of invisible constraints, man. I think I learned that through basketball, man, that you can't see, what people are going through in their head, a whole lot, especially in sports, man. That's why when you look at like Markelle Fultz and like Ben Simmons, man, like the yips are real, bro. Like you can ball out at one point in your life, and just sometimes the skills and the environment just don't transfer, man, to your success. So most definitely, I sympathize with people ragging on Markelle Fultz. I'm like, hey man, get that brother a break, man. You don't know what he's going through.
What advice would you give as a coach now to somebody who might be going? They might look like put the towel over their head and be by themselves to handle pressure, or some like you used to do when we used to play video games. You were big into superstition. You'll put something on your lap. You'll do all of these certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you handle that? Like, if somebody's going, like, that's just their personality.
Yeah, I think that it really requires a high level of individual attention. I had a student on my team with special needs not too long ago, and the kid was a hell of an athlete, but he had low intellectual abilities. You know what I mean? And you got to meet people where they are. And I think that Coach Lindo's, he says some stuff still to this day. So regardless of what I say about Coach today, I don't even know if he's still around with us, but man, there's a lot of stuff that he said that stuck with me over the years. But I felt like he had a one size fits all approach to coaching. It was either a system that you got to, you kind of got integrated in or you didn't. And I think for me as a coach, you got to be real observant of what kind of players you have, right? Like if you got a player with anxiety, you can't put him under the same pressure, in a game without putting them under that pressure in a controlled environment. And I think for me, like, coach never replicated what the game was going to be like. Like, yeah, the plays and what it's going to look like against this defense, but man, bring these cheerleaders in here to practice. That's what's making me nervous. I mean, like, get the signs in the stands with my name. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that kind of like. So I think that like you got to really simulate. It's a psychological, a therapeutic process called flooding. So, for example, if you were afraid of spiders, and in a sort of therapeutic setting, I would put you in a room full of spiders to where there's so many spiders in the room that you're almost gonna push whatever this fear is out of you, out of this fight or flight sort of response. So I think if he would have just took some time to just kind of help me work the jitters out, I would have been good. So for me, I like to run true simulations. If we're gonna be in a really loud school that I know got cheerleaders and little jerks for kids that's gonna be yelling stuff from the stands, that's gonna get my team riled up, we're gonna simulate that, right? So when you get put in that position, it's not gonna be something new to you. But yeah, that would be my biggest takeaway for like kids that just don't really have skills that translate into the game from practice. To just figure out what that barrier is and just kind of expose the kid to it, to where they become kind of desensitized to whatever it is that's holding them back.
The philosopher, as always, Dave always been deep, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He always been ahead of it. Dave, I had a question. Do you remember? All right, okay, come on. Do you remember that?
Oh, bruh. Like, bruh, come on, man. Like, that's still in my repertoire. I got certain kids that I picked out, at some of my schools, and I'm like, look, I bet the lunch lady a cafeteria lunch. I bet the principal a dress down day, and I still run it, man. I still run it.
Me and Dave, we were phenomenal at many things, neighborhood North talent shows and stuff like that. Do you remember the Mau Mau? Me, you, and Mimi going to see Bamboozled.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. The Mau Mau was strong, man.
We came back to, that's a hell of a thing to have like a that type of experience and then come back to neighborhood North and just being like, we was like, nah, that's it over with. Like
man, I will say though, man, like you really kept me grounded with like where I came from. Like it could have been easy for me to move out to Naperville and never go back to the city, you know what I mean? But I think like going with you and your family back to the city, back to the mosque, back to Stony Island, man, like, you know what I mean? It was like, it kind of kept my perspective from shifting too far in one direction. But, and you know me, man, I'm an adaptive guy. I'm gonna kind of turn into whatever environment that I'm in. And,
yes,
Naperville had its certain appeals, especially coming from like the inner city, man. And there was certain luxuries that you just took for granted out there. And it's easy to get comfortable, man. It's easy to sleep peacefully without, hearing no gunshots. We can walk down the street at all types of the, times of the night, man. We could hoop at Seven Bridges till whatever. Man, but the question is, do you remember the Seven Bridges tournament though?
Of course I remember. You know, I got it right here. I got the tournament like with a star by it. Like, make sure we talk about this.
That's the greatest. I don't know about Sharif watching, but outside the house party that the police I ain't gonna get too deep, but man, there's certain legendary moments, man, in Seven Bridges. And that was when we beat what was Sean Striven had a friend though.
Chris Sundin.
Yes, Chris Sundin and his team. Yes, boy. Yes, that was one of my favorite like sports moments, bro. And I done won some buzzer beaters as a coach. I done played in some cool high school games and some cool rec leagues, but that truly, man, is at close to the top, man, of just sports in general for me, bro. Like Osai hitting that shot, me being like so angry that he took that shot, first of all. Feel like, bro, this play was not designed for you, man. And him hitting that thing off the backboard, bro. I literally never forget that. And how we just took off running. Yeah, I never forget that.
Bro, listen. When I tell people what Seven Bridges mean, what Naperville mean, I probably say Naperville on each of my podcasts purposely, just so people can know, like, nah, I'm not gonna let y'all know how that helped develop me as a man, and how important that was to me. Like, nah, man. And the brother, and we gonna talk about this because me and Dave was my best friend in high school, and for 20 years we just had like a quick atonement session before we went live, man. We didn't speak for like 20 years. Over a woman.
Over a woman. 1.5 women too. I was already on thin ice from some before, and then had me trying to find new friendship groups and stuff, man. Had me out here bad, man, in Naperville, man. Had me nomadically drifting in people's houses.
Now we're gonna talk about. I got her name. I'm not gonna say her name, but I got the situation on the list. But let's talk about this now. For my audience who doesn't know how rare it was to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speak and being in person and stuff like that, man. Dave, we when we was going to the mosque, if they had cell phones back then, we would have went viral just to have the minute, like, man, this Minister Farrakhan talking to us.
Bro, do you remember the time we were it was like right early on, man. I had just had a very dense concept of like security and detail. And I remember the minister pulled up by himself, bro, with no security. And some brother couldn't open the door. I don't remember who it was, but he couldn't open the door because it was bulletproof. And I remember you had to come in and open the door. And then I didn't know what to do. So I'm just trying to not get too close, but just stand out of the way and act like I'm somebody important, bro. I never forget that moment, man. I remember the minister looked at me, gave me a little head nod, and I was like,
yeah.
I'm here ready to break somebody's neck again. But yeah, man, I never forget that day at the mosque, man. Just, you know, when the minister just pulled up, bro. And I remember I was talking to you, and you saw him from over my shoulder, and you just took off, and I'm like, And then he might have been one of the Temptations, but I can't remember.
Oh, you know that's on the list. You know that's on. We got the Temptations right here. You know that's on the list. You know that's on the list.
But yeah, man. But those were the days, man. Like truly, man. We were living in real precious times back then, man. And it's for sure. You know, you don't really know how limited them times are when you're that age either, man. You know.
Absolutely. And Mimi said Dave was always on the property. Yes, Dave was always at the boss, Mimi. And Rashad was laughing. And Ronald, y'all talking like y'all was really hooping. Ronald, you don't want no smoke with Dave, bro. Trust me, he a real hooper, bro. He a real hooper.
Who that talking?
Nah, his dude named Ronald. You don't know him, but he's swear to God, he's the king of Phoenix. I'm like, bro, you don't want to smoke with a real hooper like that.
Nah, I'm still wet now.
But I was gonna ask you about the Temptations. So I got one picture, bro. One picture of the Temptations. That's it. All I got is one picture.
You don't have no videos or nothing?
Man, no, man.
Oh,
no.
Bro, I'm about to change your life, then.
You got the video?
I got like 6 videos, bro.
What is going on?
I got home practice videos at your house, and then I got the talent show. Be a vegetarian. Live. I got the whole show that what you talking about?
Yeah, the videos. I didn't know that, bro.
Oh, video. That's because I was excommunicated.
Shut up, Dave.
Oh man.
I'm looking for the Temptations things.
Oh, bro, I got a gang of videos.
Dave said, Mimi said, hey, we want to see that footage. Naima says, bye, Dave, for talking about being vegetarian. Naima said, we want to see those videos. Yeah, Dave.
Oh, I got the videos, bro. Man,
I
hear at my mom's house too.
Listen, this is the kind of stuff I'm saying I'm putting on YouTube and stuff. We gotta let people know, man, we were so serious about what we was doing. And I want to talk about Sister Alice, your mom's, and let her know, not only do we thank her for being friends with us, but being friends with my moms and my grandma, and she always kept me healthy. I swear to God, like your mom's, if I go to your house, man, she's like, listen, no, we gonna eat some vegetarian.
I don't know how awkward that was growing up, man, when like you gotta lie about the meat being real. Like these tacos, my friends like, man, these tacos fine. I'm like, I had to wait like till they had them 3 different times to be like, you know, that's not real meat, don't you? Like now it's a fad though. Like now everybody eats.
That's what I'm saying.
Hear me? And people don't understand. Like, man, I grew up with that. I you know, it had its purposes, man. But I got no desire to eat fake meat now as a 40-year-old man, bro. But even my mom is like eating fish now, so that's good, man. You know, got them 1-pound bags of whiting. Don't think I forgot about my mans either. Gotta sell that whiting, baby.
Gotta sell that whiting. Shut up, Dave, please. Okay, listen. I also, Mimi and Naima are laughing. Okay, I also wanted to talk about your talent, man. When you went from like the basketball player, the serious intellect, and just all of this to talent shows. You just started doing talent shows and just took off. What was it about? Nobody can ever forget the Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? All of that at the school and stuff like that, man. What was it about you that made you want to, be a performer?
Man, what was weird? Hold on, I think I got. Oh, here we go. What was weird, man, is like I grew up doing like school plays and stuff, but I wasn't really. But before I met like you and Rob, man, like y'all were two like musically inclined, like you just knew a lot about popular culture. And that just kind of reignited, like, you know, as a kid, I did school plays and, you know, I played in the school band, I played the snare drum, and you know what I mean? Like I was used to doing something in front of people. And that was just how I got that sort of attention that I craved for as a kid. But when I moved to the suburbs, man, I used to be like, man, I am not about to do no performance for these people. I remember, bro, we used to, it was like the Temptations thing, and then Mr. NNHS happened, and then we did the Christmas joint, and I was hosting different things. And it just kind of took off, air band, all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it just sort of kind of, you know, I kind of liked, it was all about finding my identity, man, when I was in Naperville. Because you know, when I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I went to St. Dorothy, which is still a school in the city on 77th and Eberhard. But going from like 63rd, you know, and then going to like my little Catholic school, that was even still like, you know, kind of different environments for me, man. So I was used to kind of bouncing in and out of these different spaces. And for me, man, that was, you know, I kind of found my groove through like being in front of people, you know, and it kind of helped me establish like who I was and, you know, my identity, and kind of needing some of that attention and reinforcement, and you know what I mean, like all that stuff kind of helped me work, you know, some of these more undercurrent nerves and pressure and anxieties that I was dealing with, you know, kind of secretly behind closed doors. So it always felt good, man. You know, Mr. NNHS, which once again, my mom was everywhere with that camcorder, man. That's why I got literally, you'd be surprised, you're gonna be shocked the amount of things that I got on tape from high school, man. But yeah, it was good, man. I kind of lost that passion after high school, man. I don't do too much performing in that now. Everything I do behind the privacy, you know, my own home, and you know, I get on Facebook once a year, so I'm kind of disconnected.
But that's what we gotta talk about, because I mean, my sisters, everybody like, man, what's up with Dave? You know what I'm saying? Big everybody, what's up with Dave? He don't. On time you pop up, you going fishing or something. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know what's up with Dave, man.
I'm one-dimensional now. I just fish, man, and ride dirt bikes and motorcycles, man, and that's kind of been enough to kind of satiate, you know, just you know, the happiness and the pursuit of happiness, man. It's been a godsend, man. Me discovering fishing, man, is, you know, of all the things I've done in life, man, that's the only thing I would keep with me right now currently is
fishing.
It's fishing, man. It's truly, man, just like a gift, man. It's the first time in my life, man, that I was able to just kind of really clear my head. The first time I went, not even knowing what I was doing, bro. It was probably 20 degrees outside, and I'm standing in the river, man. And it was the first time that 4 hours went away without, you know, my head being clouded with thoughts and worries and things like that, man. So that was, once I jumped into that, I was hooked pretty early, bro. So yeah, man, that's my new sport now. You come down now, I ain't really shooting no jump shots, but definitely catch some nice fish, man. And, you know, it kind of chill that way. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, and thank everybody who continues to like, share, subscribe to people's podcasts. People showing you love in the comments. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Naima said she saw The Best Man with Sister Alice and Mommy. That was the most inappropriate movie to take a child. Thank you, David. Okay, but
man, bro, your mom, man. I went downstairs, man, because I texted you not too long ago. Because, bro, I drink like soda waters, bro, like they're going out of style. And I was like, somebody's house I was at frequently. I couldn't remember if it was you or Osai, but it was somebody's house that I frequented often. And it was always, and I used to always think they were Sprites, man. And we would open them up. Bro, but now, man, it's like my life force, bro. Like I drink so much soda water and tonic water and salsa water. So yeah, shout out to brother Sharif for that, man. But bro, your mom was pivotal, man, in my development in high school, bro. She was like, she was such a good counterbalance to like the parenting that I had received up to that point. You know what I mean? Like she was such a calming presence, man. Like that house used to be chaotic sometimes, like with us like picking on Rashad or kicking Mimi out the room. Man, your mom never like responded with like yelling or aggression, bro. She took every situation so calmly, man. And I'm eternally grateful, man, for just being able to connect with your mom when I did, connect with your grandma, man. You know, your grandma was the source of so many of our little inside jokes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we sometimes it would just we just be in the house and grandma was the only adult there, man. We was kicking it, man. You know what I mean? We do. But yeah, man, in retrospect, man, I was just so privileged, man, to just be welcomed into y'all home at that time. Like I said, I was still trying to find out who the hell I was and what my purpose was in life, man. I just felt like it was all your house was just always such a safe space, man, which is super important, man. When you're coming up at that age, you just have a place where you can kind of be yourself. You ain't trying to impress nobody. And it was turkey bacon. Like I said, you knew I grew up vegetarian, man. So when I discovered turkey bacon, I'm like, wait, I can eat bacon without pork bacon? And that, man, your mom would be making 10, 12 pieces at a time. You'd be picking them off as they come in the napkin, bro. Like, those are days that just, you know, like I said, I'll cherish forever, man. So
wonderful, man.
Shout out to your moms and your grandma, man. You know, may God bless their soul, man. I love them dearly. And like I said, I'm eternally grateful for them.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Now, listen, speaking of that, we got to talk about Jehovah's Freak Fest and all of the parties that
I didn't know how off the record we was getting on the people's podcast, bro. But I was like, this conversation gonna go.
I'm just saying, all of the house parties. First of all, I didn't know you. I'm still tripping off this anxiety thing because you seem like, man, like the most outgoing person I knew. Bro. I'm telling you, like I was like, man, Dave, man, shit. If we playing Hollow for $1, Dave gonna shoot a shot. He gonna get it. He gonna get him. So I couldn't even see you with that anxiety. But the house parties. And you know, this is when before you went to start just being me and Perkle, man, Kevin Perkle, he's my best friend, bro. Like we just listen to Linkin Park every day, bro. Like he's just so cool, Josh. You gotta understand, man. You don't know Kevin Perkle. I'm like,
Kevin Perkle, that's my dog, man. I ain't talked to him in 20 years too, but yeah, the parties, bro, used to be on another level, man. Like, bro, I don't even know if you remember the party where somebody got tased trying to hop over the back fence, because that was always the getaway plan. You and then if you park that way, anyway, you know, you good from there. But I remember I was running out with Nick Apollon one day, bro, and I don't remember who it was. You had somebody on security detail who was flagrant, and they just got the tasing fools, and I'm like, oh, nah, we got to get up out of here. And I ran with somebody for like 2 blocks. 2 blocks. You don't remember when we was prepping for a party that time? I don't remember who. We was having a water fight. And I had just, you remember the white Toyota I had? It was a
yes, of course. Everybody know that. Everybody remember the car.
And we was sliding down the hill and didn't know it because I was neutral. And then you hit your head on the windshield. Like,
Rashad put that memory in here earlier, but I couldn't address it because you was dealing with some serious stuff. So I was like, I wrote it down.
The parties was epic though, man. And Seven Bridges too, man, where, I mean, bro, we had cars like lining the block, bro. Like, absolutely. Packed upstairs, downstairs. My biggest fear though is, man, I always had a fear that Brother Sharif was gonna come in there one day. Like, I'd be okay if Mom and Grandma walked in there, man. But my biggest fear, bro, is like, we pushing it too far.
We pushing it too far. Listen, Mimi says I sound jelly about we was bad. Naima said we were wild as teenagers. and y'all did that trying to hide, and Mom found out about the parties anyway. But that's because y'all snitching. When your own siblings snitching, David, you know.
They were so snitching on us too. We couldn't do nothing mean to Naima and Mimi without getting it.
I was gonna ask you, okay, so you go to college, what makes you pledge Alpha Phi Alpha? What makes you want to be a brother of that fraternity?
Man, that's a great question, brother. I'm glad you asked that. Honestly, man, like I went to college and I went to HBCU. And it was, you got everybody on the yard. And for me, I think my biggest thing was like, I didn't take high school very seriously. You know what I mean? Like, as I mentioned earlier, high school was more of a social experiment for me than it was like an academic experience. So I was really trying to shift that in college. I was really trying to like lead with like my intellectual abilities. And I was really trying to show people, how smart I was. Cause I felt like I didn't do that in high school. I felt like I was too focused on being like funny or seeing how many, girls I could talk to, or, which is fine. But when I got to college, everybody was already doing that. Everybody was a funny guy. Everybody, had females. So I really shifted my focus to how can I be like my best academic self, my best like, scholastic self. And I think, I was very observant of the alphas, man. Like when everybody else was throwing parties and drinking and smoking on the yard, alphas was in the dorm studying. They was in the library. You know what I mean? They always graduated with honors. You know what I mean? They were always taking up leadership positions on campus. And yeah, I got friends that are Qs. I lived with, some of my friends that are Omegas for a little bit. And I went to TSU with a couple of the nukes for a little while. And, I was just kind of being observant to see who was doing what. And, the alphas just, from whatever campus I went to, the alphas were very like consistent on where they excelled academically. So that was the biggest allure. And I think from a historical perspective, man, you always want to be a part of, the originating clan, man, the people who were first to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to, once you set a trend or once you lay a foundation, it's easy for a lot of people to come after and figure out, how to do it better or how to do it different. But, 1906 was a great year, man, so so the oldest and the coldest, man. And then this truly, man, like it was more aligned with just, I always encourage some of the young bros who like, man, I want to be an alpha. It's like, yeah, you went to a step show and you like, to see Negroes doing precision steps and you like, man, I want to do that. But I did feel like the brothers I talked to, man, were just less characters, man. They were more, even if they weren't people that I would have hung out with personally, they were all people who were just very organic, man, and like kind of walking in their path and not like trying to avoid, or escape who they were in high school, or they weren't trying to recreate themselves. They were just, a lot of them were, I love the bros, man. But when me and my ALB pledged, we didn't have like a high, they weren't like the most popular, or they weren't pulling all the chicks, but they were who they were, like undeniably and unabashedly, man. And I think that shone through more than anything. So, man, salute the bros, man. 06, you see it. I'm just waiting on you to hop on here, man. A little A5.
Thank you for that, Dave. Yeah.
One day, brother, come on home, man. But,
yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah, man. I definitely knew I wanted to pledge, and like I said, it didn't take long to find out where I was gonna go.
Excellent, man. That's beautiful. And thank everybody who continues to like, share, subscribe to people's podcasts. Okay, so let's talk about the woman situation, bro. Let's talk about it. That's why it's called Off the Record. So, man, so what are we saying? Like, this is high school, shy brother. Because we're gonna talk about this thing that we talked about. I did a show with Sahan, Big Aaron, and Alan Johnson.
I saw that one.
Oh, you saw? Okay, yeah. So I was like, I gotta talk to Dave about that because we had like rules, like the norms, like. Could we go to spring with these people? Could we? Because I didn't want to get kicked out the black table. Like, mind you, Mimi's at school with me, so she's can't wait to report. Sister, You
didn't want to be sitting with Larry with a 9, man. At lunch.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. You already know. So now I'm like, man, it's this girl who she was, I guess, like in between, I guess we could say, or she was. I could get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Next to know, Dave is at the spring dance with her, and I gotta play it cool, like it's all good. Like it's all good. Like he ain't say he was gonna look out for me and put in the word.
Bro, did you watch the new Wonder Years by chance?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch it. That's the last time I thought about it, man. Because anyway, it's a situation that play out real similarly, man. They got the new Black Wonder Years, man. It's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, man, goes back to me being very self-serving at that age, man. Like the spring dance, here's the caveat, the important caveat that you're leaving out from the spring dance is that the girl asked the boy out on spring dance.
Absolutely.
So what happened was I knew you liked her, like undeniably. I knew you liked her, man. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. So when she asked me, I remember being like, are we going as friends? Because and in my mind, that was enough to be like, as long as you say we're going as friends. So in my mind, I had this like, you know, kind of BS qualifier, man, that I was like, you know, I'm gonna go. I didn't even talk to you about it. And that was like, I think
That's
that
all
was
I'm saying. That's all I'm
the
saying.
part, man, is that like I was pretending like I didn't have a date because I couldn't like face that conversation. I've learned too professionally that conflict and just contentious sort of situations like that, I usually just sort of disappear. That's usually so I've had to work on that as an adult. But in my mind, I remember being like, "Ooh, maybe we just won't take no pictures. Like, maybe I can make this happen without anybody finding out, bro." And I just remember like the night of being like, "Man, I just gotta tell him before we go," and I didn't. And sure enough, it got back around. And in my mind, I just kept being like, "She asked, I'm just gonna say we went as friends." And like, so I kind of talked myself into it, probably more so than I talked myself out of it. But yeah, she did ask me, and I just remember being like, "Man, you know, it's just kind of hard because my boy like you, so we got to go as friends." And she was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And I'm like, "Oh, well, shit, we in there." They cut a rug there, and I just remember, man, like, yeah, it was a situation where I definitely put myself, you know, kind of at the front of the line. But I never forget, man, is the day that I went to Rob Wilborn's house and you was over there the night after you came to the door. And I was like, "Man, what y'all doing, man?" I was like, "I didn't even know you was over here." And you just looked at me, man, with like the most disappointing face I've ever seen on a human being, man. And I just was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna give him a couple weeks." Turned into a couple months. They're like, "Man, I'm about to graduate. I still ain't jobs. They still don't talk to me no more." So yeah, man, it's still one of my biggest regrets, man. Like, still to think of like all these years, man, that we ain't really connected, knowing that it's just, you know, a simple conversation that we need to have. I'm sure you still not. I don't even know what she doing. We're gonna leave her nameless, but I don't know if she married with kids, if y'all friends on Facebook now, but I haven't talked to her probably since that night. Yeah, man, it was weird. It was a mistake, man. And like I said, I'd be lying and say I hadn't made that mistake after that too. I made that mistake in college, man. I lost, you know, connection with a real close brother of mine just from just being, you know, kind of a slave to the desires and wants, man. So
it happens. Ain't no pressure. Listen, Naima said the transparency is beautiful. Mimi said she's so proud of y'all for having this maturity. Thank you, Mimi and Naima, for giving us. But no, what I was gonna say is that night, the thing that's funny about that night is that was one of the greatest nights of my life that went bad. Now here's the other side. That's why I got to put this into TV show and all this kind of stuff. I really want to write something like this about real stories. The same spring night. First of all, I don't know where she is, and then looking back at it, she wasn't even like all that. You know, that's what
bro. And I kind of low key like thought she was cute and all, but you know, I think back then I was more concerned about like, you know, like she's racially ambiguous enough to where, you know, I ain't gonna catch no flack on either side.
That's all I'm saying. I'm like, "Mama," because the reason it's funny is my mom was like, spring dance. She was like, "So the girl asked me," I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "So, you know, who's the sister? Who's the sister?" I'm like, "Mama, ain't no." It's not happening.
Not going down.
So her best friend, the one you went to spring with, her best friend hit me like, "Man, like I think you should just, you know, shoot your shot. Boom, boom. I think you should just talk to her." I'm like, "Nah," I'm like, "Cause she kind of quiet." I was like, I like her from what I see, but she was like, "Just talk to her." Then she was like, "Don't talk to her. She's going with Dave." I'm like, she was like, "Cut it out." She was like, "Forget it." She's like, I'm like, "Dave?" She's like, "Your friend? Dave Walton." They're going together. They're excited. They got the corsage and all. I'm like, okay, no pressure. Cool. So I'm in volleyball in gym. Italian girl. I'm like, oh, boom. She like, "Man, what's up?" I'm like, okay, well, Mama, you want to just take the L on this. I'm gonna have to tell everybody in my family, I'm going with this Italian girl. It is what it is. The Italian girl, like, "I got a boyfriend." I'm like, oh God. She was like, "But my friend wants to ask you." I'm like, "Who's your friend?" She was like, "You know, the black girl." I'm like, oh. I go to that's what I'm saying. So the same night what happened, how I felt, I know I gotta apologize to that girl one day. I go with the black girl, the sister, you know, all that. And I'm mean to her, bro. Like I'm just an ass because I didn't want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't want to go to spring with her.
Bro, I'm hazy on who that was you went with. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Listen, she's an athlete. She was an athlete. You know her. She was the only girl. She was like the opposite. She was like you on the girl side.
Oh, had a brother that played football?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So now I'm like, I can't show flex with Farad and all of them, but this, I'm like, nah, man, come on, y'all, I can't do that. So we go to spring, it's like Love It Basketball. She like, you want to dance? I'm like, okay, come on, let's dance. Who do I see? The tallest black dude out of all these white people. Here go Dave. He just slowed down. He just was getting his he just romancing. I said, girl, let me tell you something. I can't do this. I can't fake it with you right now. I'm dealing with something because I'm looking over here and they all in love.
Oh, man.
But that same night, man, I met somebody who was incredible. And man, it was good. It was best spring. It was the best. My best high school memory came from that spring dance. Had to turn tragedy into triumph.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Making lemonade out of lemons, man. That's what we gotta do.
But then I can't even say that because your Osop found out about it and still was telling people. I was like, y'all ruining everything.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Now it's all coming back. Now it's all coming back now.
I'm like, why y'all telling people what Josh got going on? I'm like, this is life or death right here. Y'all playing games, bro.
I feel like I use that to deflect my actions. Like, man, you hear what that boy Josh on over there, man? It was just to really just deflect. I was there trying to caress little mama at the spring game. Yeah, for sure.
So Naima said, so y'all did the sisters wrong. No, thank you, David. We got to do the sisters wrong. But Dave, can you answer that honestly? Looking back, there was not a lot of options for black men in Naperville. There was just not.
No, I work at a school right now that's I would say 75-80% Hispanic, you know what I mean? And it's a similar struggle for like, you know, the black female students, the black male students, because they kind of forced, you know, to kind of date outside their race, even if it's something that they've, you know, not been accustomed to. And I can relate. And I tell them all the time too, like, you know, this experience will transcend the perspective of seeing everything through a black or white or Mexican lens. Like, you'll find out that you got a lot in common with some of these people. You'll find out that they have interests that you may not have yet, but that you will eventually be interested in. You know what I mean? If you kind of come in these spaces with an open mind and an open heart. But yeah, man, it's real, man. When we was there, and then the people too, there was such a dynamic with the black people. Like, you either had people that were just like commuting to Naperville for school, like Larry with a 9, who got literally Larry with a 9 on his license plate. You had like the dudes who had already like found their niche in their crew from middle school because they were going there, they went to different level of school with these kids. And then you had like the cats like me, you and Osai, who were just kind of coming into high school, trying to figure out who we were. And I remember being like, man, these black people are not like the black people that I went to middle school with. Like, they talk different, they dress different. So I remember the last podcast you had with Big Aaron, and we got to talk about Abercrombie. I remember moving there and being like, man, they wear this stuff. I can't even pronounce it, but I don't know if it's Levi's or who makes it, but everybody wears it. So it was weird, man. So I think that like I had to quickly like shift my perspective on like, if I'm coming out to Naperville to find, you know, my black soulmate, I'll be coming up short, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be really like forcing a situation that doesn't really bring me any happiness or love and joy, man. It'll just be me like doing it for optics, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that was a situation I had to come to grips with. But yeah, it's real, man. That whole matchmaking, man, it was tough in those years, man. It was tough. I think that's what made our situation so prime, because we was fighting over some prime real estate. You know what I mean? She
I'm like y'all see this one? She in the cut, or y'all sleep on this one?
Yeah, and that's a lesson that too. I'm sure you learn to keep that to yourself next time. I don't think nobody was tracking her, bro. And I just remember.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like
yeah, she is kind of bad. And like, I had a conversation with him, like, ooh, this is problematic.
This is problematic. Shut up, Dave. Thank you. Okay, but no, but I was even going to talk about the Got Derb shirts. You know what I'm saying? IUQO2, Easy, Rob, Big Aaron, Craig. I mean, everybody, bro. I'm Naperville. That's why I tell people. I'm sure it's problems, suburbs and city. I wouldn't choose another high school, bro. I wouldn't choose 100%. Another high school experience, bro.
First time I heard somebody say the word nigga that wasn't black was in Minnesota for and I don't even know if you're friends with Craig Merzak still, but I think we friends on Facebook. But I remember we were downtown Minneapolis at that 3-on-3 basket at the Gus Macker tournament, and it was two dudes on bikes, and we walked past, and the dude said, "Man, what they got going on downtown?" The other dude's like, "I don't know, man, bunch of niggers playing basketball." And boy, Craig Merzak got more angry than me, Osai, Rob put together, man. Like, we had to grab Craig because Craig's literally about to go over there and sock Buddy in his face. Yeah. Like, Craig, man, leave it alone, Craig. I remember being like, Craig, come on, Craig, man. We just here to win a tournament. And I remember being like, man, this dude is more upset than I am. You know what I mean? Like, so I met some real. Rob is another thoroughbred, man. Like, dudes that did not. I didn't feel black in Rob's house. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like his mom looked at me weird, or you know what I mean? Like his sister, like everybody. It was certain people in Naperville, man, that I was like, man, in that time, they could have been real assholes if they wanted to. Excuse my language. I know we off the record, but they could have been real, like, you know what I mean? They didn't have no, not that like we got their sympathy or nothing, but they were just real people, man, that just accepted us, man. And I think we needed a little bit of that element, even though we had some of the people that didn't really accept us, you know what I mean? But I think it was definitely like, we got a lot of mileage out of like the Craig Merzaks and the Rob Wilborns and the people that were there that could just take you in, man, without like losing a step or caring about what it was going to look like to other people, man. So much love. But Naperville, like you said, man, that was a transformative place, man, for a lot of us, man. You know, it was the first time that I seen people driving Hummers to school, and first time I just like, you know what I mean? I saw like affluent black families like yours, man. I just remember being like, dang, this is real life. Like, they got a real house. Like, we stayed in the only apartments in Naperville. Damn.
Shut up, Dave. No. What about the lady who used to work at the who used to be cool with your moms, man? She used to work at the school.
Melissa. Yeah, they still tight, man. Yep, they still tight. She live in Florida now, and her and my mom talk, you know, like pretty frequently, man. So yeah, her husband passed away. Yeah, she was good people. She was good people, man.
And anytime she saw me, it's like she could see it on my face at school. Like, man, he having a rough day. She gonna come say something. She gonna be like, "Hey, look out. You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. You know, today was one of them days." And just like, you know. and I wanted to ask you about and I'll tell the story. One time, man, it was random. I don't even know if you remember, because you said you bring up stories. I don't remember. I got into it with somebody at on the football field, made some inappropriate jokes about his wife. I mean, his girlfriend at the time, and he wouldn't let it go. So I'm like, bro, I'm gonna pull up. Ain't no pressure. We gonna fight, handle this at Arrowhead. And you at the party, and you like, bro, don't come over here. You like, bro, it's a setup. Do not come over here. I repeat, do not come over here.
Super setup, bro.
Yeah, they was like, do not come over here. I'm like, what, man? I'm like, so I'm all into I'm in the character now. I'm in zone. So I'm like, I'm the maker, the owner, boy. I handle this, boy, any kind of way. You like, repeat, do not come over here.
It is 30 of them boys, and they are looking for you.
And they are looking for me.
I remember one of them had on a cast. I can't even recall his name, but he had a hard cast on, mm-hmm. And he was in there talking about, you hold them, and I'm just gonna hit him with the cast. Joshua, abort. Abort. Yeah, and I remember being like, at that point, man, you really bringing up some old memories. I remember at that point feeling like, man, these dudes feel so comfortable around me to talk about how they about to jump my partner like this. Like, man, I must be out here really selling it out in the streets. Like, man, these dudes act like I ain't even here. You know what I mean? Like, they out here like I'm gonna jump too or something, man. So yeah, that was I forgot about that, man. I didn't, because I remember his girl. I mean, we probably friends on Facebook. She was so. That's what I'm saying, like how you guys rise above emotion, bro, because she was so like, he's tripping.
don't worry about him. Like, me and you cool. So when I see him, I want to be like, oh, what's up? Like, just talk to her. But I'm like, nah, he done said some stuff. Like, he's making it seem like it's on site, but she's like, no, that's just how he is. You know him. you know him. I think his name Jim. Yeah, Jim or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, what was his name?
Yes, Nick. Yes,
Nick. Yes, Nick. Yes, Nick. We about to do our 20-year reunion, man, at some point.
That's good.
You remember Nicolette Andrews?
Of course.
Yeah, she coordinating the jump. So yeah, it's just been good, man. Like, I see some names and I don't really have a face to it, and then I go look at them, I'm like, oh yeah. But
she had she couldn't come to the party. We had to turn she had epilepsy.
That's right.
And she was like, before I come to your party, you got to turn the strobe light off, Josh. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like,
the fact that we had a strobe like that, we was really trying to do the damn thing, man.
She was like, I can't come in your basement until you turn off the light. Like,
I forgot about that. Shout out to Nicolette, man.
Yeah, she's a real one. All right, boom, perfect. So I just want to thank you again, Dave. Thank everybody for watching. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Please tell Aunt Bessie, and of course to the Alice, your mom's, man. She don't know how much I love her. We love her, bro.
Absolutely.
Man, how much you talking about a kind energy, and then she reached out to my mom's, and that made me almost be weak. I was like, oh, that was dope. I'm like, I can't take these kind of words right now.
Still the same, man. She's still the same.
But Dave, now listen, we got to see each other, bro, in person, man.
100%, bro. 100%.
Do you see Tristan or anybody? You ever see any of them?
Man, I haven't heard from Tristan, bro. My LB live in Atlanta, man, and I got a goddaughter, man. His first and only born out there, so I'm out there all the time. They in Sandy Springs or Shady Springs or whatever.
Sandy Springs. That's 10 minutes from where I'm at.
Yeah, so and I'll be up there soon, man. So I'll make sure we link, man, next time I touch down, bro. You can always come to Colorado too, man.
Listen, I was in Colorado for a layover, man. Like, that had to be 2 years ago. I didn't think, man, because I knew only people I know are you and Leonard, man. I'm like, man, Leonard lives in Colorado.
Bro, I seen Leonard at a DL Hughley show, bro, and have not, and we connected, and he was like, man, I live out here, and I was like, bro, and we just still ain't even linked, man. So hopefully that'll spur us to link up in the future.
Well,
man.
yeah, I just saw him at Big Aaron's wedding. Mimi said, please take Josh fishing and go live. Y'all want to see me out there embarrassing myself? Y'all want to see Y'all want to see me embarrassing myself?
What's gonna happen, man? I'm gonna put you've been fishing before or not?
Yes. And my father tried to force that on me, like the Brunswick, like all of the South. We're gonna learn about staying outside.
In Georgia too, yeah. We gonna do some fly fishing though too, man. It's a little more uppity. But
I'm saying, it's like real flies. When we say fly fishing, what's going on?
Fly fishing, it's all artificial lures. So you make everything out of a collection of feathers and furs and things like that, and you basically imitating bugs that are either on top of the water or underneath the surface. And bro, it's more of a tactful, more of like a hunting as opposed to just throwing a worm and wait for a fish to come eat it, and you sitting there drinking beer or something. You know what I mean? Like, you active, you in the water, you know what I mean? Like, you focused on like a particular fish that you can see. So yeah, man, it's a lot different, man, than regular fishing, man. So come on out, I get you right, put you on some fish, man. We can ride everybody.
Okay, and one last question I gotta ask you, because people gonna watch this, especially the women. They're gonna want to know, this Alfred is educated man. Are you about to get married? What's the situation like? What's going on? Is this Alice putting pressure on you?
Man, bro, I thought we was trying to set your boy up out here.
No, I'm just saying.
No, man, I have no plans on getting married anytime soon.
Okay.
I'm just working, man, trying to get my life together, bro. But yeah, I've been in a couple of situations since I've been in Colorado. Kind of got a little situation happening right now, but I'm just trying to figure out what that's gonna lead to.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother. You really saved that one for me. So I thought
listen. And also, man, I please send your dad our love too, man, because it was you, man, who was teaching us about the tribe of Judah and all that kind of stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying, with your middle name and all of that, man. I was like, oh yeah, Dave, no, he enlightened. So please send your father our love as well, bro.
Will do, bro. Will do, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. Send me the kid, bro. Anytime I see your nieces and nephews, man, it's literally just takes me back to like when your siblings was little, man. Like when Naima was little, when Rashad was little, when Mimi was little. So man, I'm just amazed at the growth each of them have made. When I see Rashad, man, he's like a full grown man, bro. Naima and Mimi just. So, man, yeah, I got a lot of love for y'all, man, and I hope we can connect soon in person, bro, as you alluded to, man.
No, that's a done deal. That's a done deal, bro. That's a done deal, man. Life too short, bro.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate this opportunity, though, bro. I really do,
much.
man.
And Dave, please don't flake on the videos, man. I got to see the videos of us doing the Temptations.
I'm gonna send you the video. You're gonna have more videos than you asked for, bro. I'm gonna tell you that, because I'm gonna start sending you some ones that I'm just gonna record on my phone, and so I can get the little adapter and all that stuff, bro. But trust me, bro, you about to be in for one if you ain't never seen none of these videos.
Okay, great. Did you keep up with Andy Santino? Y'all still cool now?
No, I had talked to him back when he was still in college, man, in Arizona, and then he started to do the Punked, and I had reached out and we had, I just said what's up and I see him, man, but I really don't talk to too many people from Naperville. Like I said, I keep tabs on Rob on an annual basis even then, but yeah, man, I need to reconnect. That's why I was really hoping I can make it to the reunion, man. I saw Alan on the Jeopardy joint, man.
Yeah, you saw him. Yeah,
I watched that. So big ups to Alan, man. That's my dog, man. I was real proud of him for that, representing Naperville, man, to the fullest. But yeah, I'm excited to reconnect with some of my old classmates, man. Reconnect with you, man. And like I said, it's just been way too long, bro. So let's do something soon.
Done deal. Thank y'all very much. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast.